I hope everybody's having a nice weekend. Today is Sunday. Hope you had a great Friday. Hope you had a great Saturday. And I hope you're also having a good Sunday. But I tell you right now in the UK, the weather has been booming. Yeah, too hot. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into what this video is all about. Now, we're going to start off with another update regarding Thias and Patrick. Now, in the most recent video, we spoke about the arrest. And not only did we speak about the arrest that Thias went through, but also on top of that, we had video footage that was uploaded by TMZ. But that video footage was only partial. There is a larger video. But instead of covering that actual video stuff in particular, we're going to cover the breakdown of that specific video, which I believe was uploaded on Sergeant Pepper Spray here. Okay, obviously has used in this article by Sarcasm. Now, there's a transcript here of the things that really matter the most down below, which is what we're about to get into in a second. But before we do that, just to give some people a quick little recap in case you don't know the situation. The full police body cam video from 90 Day Fiance, the last star Thias Mendes, battery assault on May 22nd has been released. It reveals a lot more information than such a short video posted yesterday, which is the one that I spoke about in the previous video. Now, this is the video itself in particular. Now, we're going to go down here where it does do the Thias Mendes battery recap or arrest recap. Thias Mendes was arrested for a misdemeanor domestic battery on May 22nd, 2026. She had allegedly slapped her estranged husband, Patrick Mendes. Now, this is something that we did discover in that previous video where it was reported by the police that Patrick had scratches on his face, which is why they had to go ahead with arresting him. Also continue by saying, based on what Thias and Patrick both told the police, Thias has purchased tickets to Brazil for her and her 3-year-old daughter Alice. Their flight was the same day she was arrested. Thias says Patrick previously stated that Alice could make the trip to Brazil, but he changed his mind after he saw that Thias had gone out with friends to celebrate her birthday. On the day of Thias' arrest, Patrick brought Alice to her apartment so Thias could say goodbye. Things got a bit heated between Thias and Patrick. At one point, she slapped him. Police were called because Patrick had scratches on his face. The video, like I said before, showed the fact that this is why they went ahead with the arrest, where it says here there was a video of Thias slapping him. She was obviously placed under arrest. And the video itself in particular is a video that Patrick owns. It's not a video that I have seen surface online as of right now, and if it will, I guess we'll be there to obviously see it for what it is. But either way though, the slap is what pretty much gave the police the authority to arrest Thias, has obviously proof they should put their hands on Patrick and that he was not making it up. So this is exactly what we discussed in the previous video. But in this one here, continues again by saying that we compiled some highlights from the video, including quotes from Thias and Patrick. There is some overlap from our previous recap of the edited video, okay? Now, of course, Thias, this is her, I believe, speaking to the authorities, or is it to Patrick? Let's have a look. She says, I am so patient. I'm very polite with Patrick always. This is obviously her speaking to the police officers. But he tries to. He follows me everywhere. I don't have a car. I don't have anything. Thias does have a Tesla, but Patrick's reportedly able to turn it off with his app on his phone, which is obviously quite unfortunate for herself. But then again, that still does say that this car is obviously his, not hers. But we continue. Thias also continues by saying, I was just trying to go to Brazil with my daughter, but he wouldn't let me. That's why, that's the way he can have control me. He can control me. He show up and then he starts to attack me. It is kind of a shame, isn't it? Just because she went out to celebrate her birthday with her friends doesn't mean that she then should be stopped from going to another country with her daughter. Do you see what I'm saying? So the fact that this is even a thing is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible that Patrick will change his mind out of jealousy, out of stupidity last minute. He needs to do better. And also on top of that, in last video, we also spoke about how I was afraid that these events may have happened in front of their daughter. And so far, based on what we've read, it seems to me as if these events of the slapping, the argument, happened in front of their daughter, which is so sad. No child should be exposed to such cruelty. Continues by saying Patrick shows a video of Thias slapping him to the officers, but it's blurred out. Thias can be heard explaining, "This is my home" in the clip. At one point in the video, the closed captions, the closed captioning indicates Thias tells the police officer, "I'm moving back to Brazil." It's unclear if she did in fact mean that she plans to move back to Brazil permanently. Now, to be honest with you, I can imagine her going back to Brazil permanently if once the divorce is obviously all done and dusted, I can imagine her probably going back to Brazil. I mean, I know she's got friends in the United States, but at the same time, I do feel like she cherishes probably her friends back in Brazil more. So I do feel like her doing that. But at the same time, though, when it comes to custody of the children, that is something that could prevent her. Obviously, going back to Brazil is one thing, but going back knowing that the father lives in America is what makes things a whole lot more complicated. So the chance of her going back to Brazil, I don't know. It really depends on how the court case goes and obviously what leeway she gets. Okay. Now we continue. This is obviously what was said by Thias. He chases me everywhere I go. Okay. He sent messages to my friends. He's crazy. Today, I was going to go to Brazil. I paid for the whole trip for me and Elise to go visit my family. He said he was going to let her go. But then I went out for my birthday. And he found out and he was going like crazy because we don't have anything for so long. We're not together for so long, but he doesn't accept the end. So it seems to me as if Thias is the one that probably left the relationship. She's obviously the one that walked out on him. And he's still not willing to accept it, which is quite sad. Also continues by saying Thias says that she's the one who broke things off with Patrick. I couldn't do anything. I was tired of being abused. So there you go. She's the one that broke things off. But here's the thing though. Let's not ignore what she says here. I couldn't do anything. I was tired of being abused. So what type of abuse was she going through with Patrick? Based on what we've read so far, it is clear that he was trying to control, or not even trying to, but he was controlling her life. She couldn't drive. She couldn't do, well, she could drive, but she couldn't own her own car. End of the day, anything that happened between these two, he had to have the approval. So this is a man that is obviously seriously insecure and did anything but anything to literally anything but everything, my apologies, did anything but everything to control her. And I can understand why she finally said, you know what, I need to leave. I can't do this anymore. The money this man brings to my life isn't even worth sticking around anymore. This guy doesn't show me love the way he should do. He shows me more disrespect than he does show me love. So I can understand her leave. And to be fair, in the most recent episode of The Last Resort, Between the Sheets, in case you haven't seen the upload yet, I have made the upload not yesterday before. In that one, we also speak about how Patrick has an issue with pleasuring himself. She says that there's times when she will obviously feel the bed moving. She'll hear sounds, and that is him playing stuff, saying that he pretty much has an addiction of that. So why does that matter? Why is it key? Well, here's the thing. It is clear that when she doesn't want to give him, when she does not want to sleep with him, clearly he goes and pleasures himself because he obviously has this high, intense drive due to whatever reason. For me personally, I would say it's probably linked to the fact that he used to be on steroids. Because for people who don't know, steroids can actually make men or even women, but make them become sexually hyperactive. So much to the point people end up doing very interesting things. Some people end up watching too much porn and then doing a lot of playing with themselves. The list goes on. That's the dark side of taking the rights. This is why I always say, don't take drugs, folks. People don't want to listen. And also on top of that, from my understanding, if you are on a higher dosage of TRT, a dosage that you're not supposed to be on, you can also have very interesting side effects. Okay. Now, when I say a high dose of TRT, now for the people who don't know, we know his brother John has admitted to the fact that he's also on TRTs and testosterone. I can't say the bloody word. Recovery therapy. And this is something that is given to men who have low test levels. Now, when you are given that, you were only given a range of between 70 to 120. Anything above that means now you are on a PED. You are now on a performance enhancing drug. Okay, and that now means that you're going to other places that obviously are not legal. And obviously, I believe for women is hormone recovery therapy. So obviously there's that one too, you see what I'm saying? I don't know about the side effects about that one. I don't know what happens to that one per se, you know what I mean? Because I'm not a woman. But bear in mind though, if Patrick is obviously taking certain supplements right now, they can obviously be, those are things that can, one, potentially make him insecure, give him that paranoid effect, give him this controlling complex, and also have this complex where he feels the need to always have to beat his meat, you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, some of these things are maybe just who he is, to be honest, even without that. You know, maybe he's just a messed up person who has serious insecurities away from that. But again, though, I don't know 100% if this man is actually taking any kind of supplement. And if he's not, again, it doesn't change the fact that this is still who he is, a controlling, narcissistic, horrible person. And he wants to have sole custody over their child. But let's continue. Continues here by saying that prior to the slap, Patrick says Thias hit him and pushed him in the back. Interesting. Patrick tells the officer that Thias is a mess right now. I mean, if he's provoked her, I can only imagine how much of a mess she's going to be. Anyone that's provoked can easily become a mess of some kind. Thias also continues by saying that we never had like any aggressive, like type of fights or anything. So then he showed up saying that she's not going. He says, my apologies. So then he showed up saying that he's not going. No, so he's not going to let Alicia go to Brazil. He tried to, control me through her. Thias says she told Patrick that she wanted a moment alone with Alicia, and she asked him to leave the apartment, but he refused to leave and stood in the doorway. Really showing his character, isn't he now? But again, this is all Thias' words. We don't know if this is 100% correct, but obviously this is her version of the story. And as we know, there's always two sides of a story, but then there's always the third one. The third one is always the truth. Continuously with Thias also saying that I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even have a car. I couldn't have my car. He blocked my car. Every time I go anywhere, he takes the app and shuts down the car. And I couldn't leave with the car. Explained above, obviously regarding the Tesla. Thias says there was a prior instance in which Patrick took her phone. She later tried to get it back and Patrick shut the door on her arm, causing bruising. So now this is becoming physical abuse. Not just mental abuse, but also physical abuse. Accident or not, it's still physical abuse. Why? Because the accident could have been prevented. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have to be very clear sometimes. Sometimes somebody can hurt somebody and say, oh, I'm so sorry, that was by accident. But at the same time, we have to look at the events that brought them to that situation. If the events that brought them to that situation could have been prevented, well then if you ask me personally, that is no longer an accident. That is literally physical abuse. But if it's something that happened and there was nothing that could have prevented it, then that's a different conversation. Then we can class it as an accident. And I only say this because you see, if you're dealing with somebody that clearly has issues, behavior issues where he bullies his own wife, then I'm not going to excuse something that is alleged an accident when it's not. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it could have been prevented. Also continue by saying, Thias says Patrick puts cameras in her apartment, but she moved them. I took them out because I didn't have access to the cameras. He had put them there because he wanted to know what I do. So clearly she moved out, and even though she moved out, he still had control over her apartment. That is crazy business. Absolutely crazy business because of the cameras there. Wow. Very, very disgusting behavior, and that's just me being polite. Patrick was aggressive to me. Then I defend myself. Interesting. Now we continue here where Patrick has his say. Patrick says, I don't want to press charges on her or her to go to jail. The officer explains that they have no choice because there was an allegation of battery and evidence of injury, the marks on his face, or Patrick's face. Thias is going to be in Brazil for 2 weeks, but the arrest meant she wouldn't be able to make her flight. She tells officers that her and Alicia tickets were $1,500 each. I don't know, that's got nothing to do with the authorities. Like care. Thias asked officers how she could report something that didn't happen that day. Once it was clear she was being arrested, Thias made more comments against Patrick. This man did so much to me. I never did anything to him. He said if you call the police, you're going to be deported. He's abusive. Everyone knows that. We're on reality TV, and everyone knows that he's abusive. I'm very calm. I don't do anything to him. I was literally defending myself. You know he's buff. I couldn't do anything. Obviously meaning he's big. I was defending myself because he doesn't want me to be with another person. That I strongly believe. So this is obviously where we are right now with the situation with Patrick and Thias. And to be fair, I do really appreciate that this was written out, because when things are written out, it's easy for me to read them and then be able to elaborate on what's happening, or obviously my thoughts. Obviously, sometimes when you listen to a video, I've then got to try and remember what that person said. And it's like, what did they say again? Do you know what I mean? Although I can pause it, of course. But either way, though, shout out to both Sergeant Pepper Spray, as well as also Sarcasm, for obviously this report on the matter itself in particular. Now, of course, if anything else new does come out, I'll obviously let you lovely folks know. But for the meantime, I'm also going to move on to a little bit of other information as well. Now, right now, there's a picture circulating around on the internet regarding Pedro and Pedro's new girlfriend. And I want to debunk it. There is this picture here, as you can see in front of you, showing a picture of Pedro and his girl. Okay, and this picture, or on this ultrasound. I can confirm to you that she's not pregnant, guys. Okay, this information is misinformation. Please do not believe this information when you see it. Okay, because I just know, listen, it's AI. Okay, you know what I mean, folks? So I just want to put that out there. Don't believe the rumors that you see online. So, yeah. But I will say this, though. Pedro and your new girlfriend do seem to be having one hell of a good time together. So shout out to them for obviously enjoying life together. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Now, Shekinah, as you know, has always got something to say. Shekinah has come out by saying this. She says, love when my husband, yes, I hate that word, meaning husband, goes lower than low. The second he doesn't like a reaction I give. Apparently, I'm uneducated and below his level. Mentally broken. He's the only one that can stand me. Typically narcissistic isolation. And even my family doesn't speak to me. Hit him where it hurts the most. You be sending photos of you crying to get me back in a week. And she obviously tagged Sarper. Obviously, when it comes to Sarper and Shekinah, there's always an ongoing feud between the two. These two, they've got serious issues. Now, sometimes we sit and say they're doing it just because they want to be on the show. But here's the thing, though. Prior, we said this because we knew they were going to be on this show, so we felt like they were doing it as a build-up. But now it's starting to feel more real than ever. Maybe by the end of the season, we'll truly find out their status in their relationship. Have they actually broken up? Have they actually gone separate ways? What is the situation? But either way, the Shekinah has obviously never been shy to let things be known. And to be fair, she has exposed him in the past for sending her abusive messages. So to be fair, the thing that she does say about him are definitely true because the evidence has always been there with him. And so far, this season has proven that this guy is not a nice person. It's just that Shekinah is a bit more harder to like, so therefore people would choose to people will just choose to like him because they dislike her, when in reality we can dislike two people, you know. They're both a calamity, folks. Both of them are an absolute calamity. But Shekinah also came out with another post where she says, following up to the first one that I just read, where she says, I am fully convinced men are just propaganda to distance women from reaching their full potential. Very interesting. So I do wonder what this is. I do wonder what this means when it comes to their relationship. Now, to be fair, overall, there is a lot of truth behind that. There are plenty of men and women in this world who hold each other back in relationships. Now, I'm not going to say that men are just a propaganda to hold women back, because women can also do the same thing to men as well. So that's why always be very, very careful about who you allow in your circle, both as friends, both as family, and also both as in a relationship. Okay, be very careful. You don't want to be in a relationship with the wrong person, somebody that is holding you back rather than helping you go to the next level. Okay, you don't want to keep family members around that try and drag you down, try and tell you that you've done enough, or try and tell you that you're doing too much. You know what I mean? You want to keep the family members that tell you that, listen, I'm proud of you, but what's next? Let's keep building. I'm here to support you no matter what. Not the ones that tell you anything that's implying that you've done too much or you're stagnant. No. Unless, of course, they're asking you politely that, hey, maybe sometimes you need to chill day because you're doing a bit too much. You're stressed. You're losing hair. That's different. You know what I mean? So always be careful with the people you keep in your life. And same thing with friends. Make sure you don't keep friends around who just want to be in your aura. Friends that want to steal your vibe, okay? Be careful. So be careful who's in your circle, folks, okay? Sometimes the only person in your circle that you need is just you. Sometimes you may have to just ride it alone. It really depends on the situation, okay? Now, the last thing we're going to talk about here is something quite interesting, to be fair. In the most recent episode of 90 Day Fiance season 12, episode 6, I believe it is. Bear in mind, the new episode is out tonight, and obviously tomorrow we'll be here to react to it. So please make sure you subscribe, make sure you turn on your notifications, and make sure you check the channel tomorrow as many times as you can until you see the upload of tomorrow's reaction. Okay, come on, guys. You know you want to. But with that being said, though, Annabelle was taken to the nail shop by Shay. Now, this nail shop is a shop that is owned by Shay's daughter, and something was noticed regarding the quality of their nails, where people have obviously raised their concerns. As you can see, Annabelle, girl, don't let them play with your hands like that. And as you can see, this is the image of her hands. Now, for me personally, I don't know what's happening here. I'm just showing you guys what's been said, and you can let me know, because obviously I don't get my nails done, clearly. But it continues here literally by saying that your fingers should not look like this when getting them done. Annabelle was getting her nails done at the nail salon that Shay's daughter works at, or not owns but works at, okay? So obviously anyone wants to avoid this place here, obviously avoid the place of in particular, okay? And they look so painful. Poor woman is sharing what disrespectful things Shay has been doing while getting her fingers sliced and diced. I don't know what would be worse. The employee doing it deliberately, assuming that Shay's daughter would go that far and ask for such a favor, or the employee just lacks skill. Again, I have nothing else to add to this one because this is not my area of expertise, but I thought I'd share this because you may have a thought yourselves in particular the way you think, yeah, there's truth behind this here. That's been said, okay? So bear that in mind. Now, one thing that I do want to say as well, I had a post. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know if it was deleted. I don't know where it's disappeared. Oh, no, hold on a minute. I found it. My apologies. I found this one very interesting. Now, currently right now, there's a situation with Cara and G. And right now, people dislike Cara. Everybody's team G. Nobody likes Cara. Now, when it comes to the situation with their son, very interesting information came out, which was quite interesting. Something that wasn't even disclosed so far on the show. But this person says, the last resort, why does G have Nico only once a week? Now, that's a very, very good question. Says he that I've been reading some of the unpopular opinions and I agree with the skepticism on G's quality as a partner/father. Previous to the episode, I was largely sympathetic to G, but when it was revealed that he cares for Nico only once a week, I began to really feel differently. That is pitiful. Also, his defense for why he doesn't financially contribute to Nico is because Cara didn't tell him to, which is a wild thing. You decided to have a child with somebody. You step up by default. You don't need someone to tell you to step up for your child financially. That is crazy business. And to be fair, this really highlights more and more Cara deciding to become an OF girl. And her saying, well, this man didn't offer to give me any money to look after our kid. Obviously, he said, well, you said you was doing it because you wanted to make money for your career. But she said, well, once we broke up, I had to up my levels because I needed more money because I now have to look after myself and our child. Which, to be fair, I guess she was doing anyway. So that is quite interesting. So since they've had the split, and also, let's not forget, in the last season that we saw these two on Happily Ever After, I believe it was, we spoke a lot about how he decided to leave his job without having another job ready, which was very, very peculiar, which therefore would have put Cara and Nico in a very unfinancial situation. I'm not condoning Cara's choices of getting an extra income, but the fact that he's put his child in that position says a lot, says a whole lot. And I've been saying this all the time, there's nothing wrong with disliking two people together. For some reason, people always find that if I like this person in a relationship, I must dislike this one. No, both can be wrong. Seems to me that these two are both moving mad. But we continue here where it says that because Cara didn't tell him to, you shouldn't be told when/if you should provide for your son. If you are a present and loving father, precisely. And to be fair, I will say this doesn't really hit close to home, but I do have friends. No, I say friends. I have got a friend, to be fair, who's in the same situation with her baby father. And I've known other females who are in the same situation with their baby fathers. Nowhere to be seen, money is there, but then again, he's here, but the money isn't here. Then he doesn't want to pay, then it takes him about 2 months to pay, and then when he does pay 2 months later, he only pays for like 1 or 2 weeks. Honestly, men, do better. Obviously, I'm pretty sure there's probably women out there who do the same type of stuff, but obviously it is more known for men doing this ridiculous behavior. Now we continue here with saying thoughts. I don't know. G really came across as somewhat uninvolved parent for me in this episode, which undermines his criticism of Cara in my opinion. And this is very true. It changes everything. Now, I'm going to read this little cheeky comment before I disappear. This person says they need a court order for custody and a child support. A lot of people don't do it, but they are too angry with each other to compromise. Cara says she needs money, but didn't ask for a year. He says, just tell me what you need. A court order will clear all that mess up. But this is a good point though. He's saying, tell me what you need. I'm going to tell you this now. Whoever the single parent is, whether it be the mother or the father, that single sole parent, whoever the sole parent is, whoever the child lives with, that parent should not have to ask the other parent to give them money. Because that other parent, by default, should say, listen, I know we've obviously decided to go separate ways. We've obviously decided that we're not going to be together. But don't worry, I'm going to make sure that I have this amount of money in your bank account every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every month, whatever. Okay? This is how much I'm proposing that I can afford to give you right now. Once I'm able to obtain more money, maybe if I get a new job, I can then give you some more. You see what I'm saying? Have that conversation, you know? Obviously, if you're in a position where you're with someone who I guess doesn't have a job, you can have another conversation. Okay? Whatever that conversation is, you find the compromise. But the moral of the story is, no parent should go up to another parent and say, you need to start giving us money for our child. No. It's a default setting. If you're not going to be together, It's a default setting. Don't worry, I got you. I will make sure that our son, our daughter's got this. Doesn't matter whether the way that, remember what I said before. Whoever is the parent that lives with the child, so whether it be the father or the mother, that parent should not go out of the way to the other parent who does not live with the child to ask them. Each and every time that parent that comes and picks up their child to go and go and spend the day or to spend or a day over or spend a couple of days, as soon as you say, just so you know, so this is your money for this week. Okay? Or for some people, they can make a bank account. You put money into that bank account each and every week. It's literally, it's embarrassing that people feel that they need to be told to give money to their child, to support their child. It takes two to make a freaking child, not one. Calamity. But people enjoy moving mad. With that being said, please do let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section and we can talk about it. But when it comes to being reality ready, that is something that is clearly not going to happen anytime soon with some of these people, or if not all of them. But hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and have a great Sunday. Thank you so much for your time. And also hype the video on your way out. And happy Father's Day. Oh yeah, that one too.